On September 24th, the Tampa Bay Young Republicans hosted a debate about Amendment 3, commonly known as the Recreational Marijuana Amendment. In the Vote No corner, we have Luke Nefertatos, Executive Vice President of Smart Approaches to Marijuana. In the Vote Yes corner, we have the infamous John Morgan, yes, from Morgan & Morgan. In this series, we'll explore what they got right, what they got wrong, but most importantly, we're going to expose what they left out. So leading up to November, there's certainly a lot of talk about Amendment 3. And let's face it, marijuana has been under a prohibition for far too long. And Florida faces the chance at passing an amendment that allow people 21 and over to purchase the plant at a dispensary. Now, I know there's a ton of excitement about this amendment, but it's important to remember that we only get one shot at this. You see, the change is going to be permanent. Why? Because it's a constitutional amendment. Whatever passes with this amendment is going to be next to impossible to remove or change. So if we get this wrong, the plant could be completely ruined in Florida forever. Amendment 3 does not change vertical integration. I know the term vertical integration sounds a bit complicated, but let's go ahead and make it simple. Your favorite dispensary has to operate under a grow license. The grow license has to own the processing and packaging plant. The processing and packaging plant supplies the dispensary. Each part of the process is controlled by the same company, allowing the state better accountability and control. Why is this a problem? Supply and demand. Currently, about 22 grow licenses are allowed by the state and are in operation. They supply the medical marijuana program that has just under 1 million patients. Currently, they can barely keep up with the patient supply. Opening it up to 21 and over forces them to service a population of roughly 18 million additional people. This is a quick way to implode the supply chain. Amendment 3 does not require dispensaries to prioritize medical patients either. See, in 2016, we passed this original amendment as a constitutional amendment for patients suffering from debilitating conditions. Now, this Amendment 3 could force these patients to lose access to getting their medication because of the supply and demand problem. The debate raised this concern that the amendment could create a monopoly. This was John Morgan's best argument.
So I agree with you. There are 25 licenses that could be released tomorrow. The other day, DeSantis was talking about the monopolies and how bad it is and people should be able to grow it at home. I agree with you. Truly agrees with you.
No.
And yes, they do.
Absolutely.
Yes, they do. Listen to me.
They want me to turn me into a felon.
Listen to me. Listen to me. They do. And guess what? Even if they don't, DeSantis can allow it in the next legislative session. Governor DeSantis, with his legislators who are under his thumb, they can legalize homegrown this session.
What if Governor DeSantis doesn't approve the 25 licenses on his desk? He could very well just let the supply chain completely implode in spite of Amendment 3 passing. Now, keep in mind, this amendment makes changes permanent, so we have to really think cautiously. Mr. Morgan said that DeSantis is in favor of home grow. I'm not sure that's entirely accurate. This is what DeSantis actually said.
Amendment 3. You'll hear the media say it's, quote, the legalization of recreational marijuana. If you actually read the amendment, which doesn't appear on your ballot, by the way, that's a self-selected summary. They hide the actual text of the amendment so you don't see it. If you actually read it, it's not the legalization of recreational marijuana. This is per se, it's partially, but per se. This amendment is being funded by one weed company, True Leaf. They have put 75, 80 million and counting into getting this on the ballot and to getting it passed, and they're trying to get a 60% threshold. Are they doing that because they care about your rights and your health? Or are they doing that because they're going to be able to profit off of it? Of course. And so they wrote it so that they get basically to benefit from a monopoly. They create a corporate weed cartel with these medical treatment centers. They wrote that into the amendment. So you have a right to possess and smoke it, but only if you buy it from them. And oh, by the way, whatever they do in this process, they provide in this amendment, if it passes, total immunity from civil liability. So if they sell you reefer and you have seizures, you can't sue them for that. So this is not about weed as much as it's about corporate greed.
The cold reality is that Amendment 3 creates the groundwork for a legal cartel that controls the plant. Let's go ahead and play this out. Governor DeSantis said the biggest dispensary in the state of Florida wrote Amendment 3. They've spent nearly $90 million to get it on the ballot in November. They have a lot of dollars to recuperate. Here's a plausible scenario. Amendment 3 passes. The state doesn't open more grow licenses. We know there are 25 licenses, but there are only about 3 mega dispensaries. The supply chain implodes all of the small dispensaries. They can't supply anyone anymore. Who is left standing? The biggest dispensaries in Florida. In fact, they would likely buy out all the smaller dispensary licenses. Now there is nearly zero competition. Quality will likely go down and be a GMO cesspool of products. What is this? A legal cartel. At My Florida Green, we see it as our duty to uphold the integrity of the medical program and the patients that we support. You see, Amendment 3 poses a threat to our program and to our patients. Recreational in Florida can happen, but it just needs to be separated from the medical program. See, remember, if we get this wrong, it could devastate our supply chain here in Florida. This is not a start to recreational. It'll be the end of what could be a great recreational program. Tell us your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about Amendment 3?